I don't have a script. I never have a script. I've never used a script ever. But I feel like it's important to say for a video of this caliber. Um, I'm just so frustrated and defeated at the same time. Like in my mid-20s, I feel tired, like an old man or something. I I am I am so fed up with the world that we live in. So many people who are misinformed, uninformed, or outright wrong, and just the fact that the truth is out there, and that, like, people, I'm just so exhausted from existing because of the the planet I have to live on, with a world that I shouldn't say. I was going to say people, but I shouldn't say people because it's not everyone. I get that, but it seems like the defining part of the human species is to fight, fight, fight. Regardless of individual people, regardless on if you who are watching this video and you just want to live your life, it seems that the defining factor of humanity is to just fight. Debate, 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 war, 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 political unrest, political corruption. Just, it never ends. It never ends. We, I, there's people on there's the people on the right who are constantly trying to to create anti-LGBT laws and be for them and like and just fucking hate people for the way that they are, and then people on the left who constantly purity test each other. I'm so fucking tired. I'm tired of conservative assholes and liberal pieces of shit. I say that I would be defined as being on the left. A lot of my values would be considered left leaning, but I'm I don't want to put a label on things anymore. What my values are my fucking values. I'm so I it's this sounds concerning to say, but I don't want to live on this planet anymore. I know that sounds like concerning to say, but who is anybody? Is the internet, and nobody. If somebody says that, nobody's really going to care. But at the end of the, but my point is that I have to. I have to live on this planet that seems so defined by just fighting. Again, I know it's not individual people. I still have friends, and I still have people around me. It's just the overarching world and the way that it's shaped seems to constantly be fighting itself when it comes to the human species. You have groups of people here, groups of people over there, groups of people based on their what they believe in, their religion, whatever the hell. People just want to fight. Or at least it's like people want to fight over what the truth is, or what the reality of our existence is, and that's why religion exists. That's why We have debates about social issues, and granted, we should be striving for the most the closest thing to the objective good that we can do for people. But at the end of the day, we are subjective creatures experiencing the world subjectively, and we experience the world and in a way that shapes our belief system, and our belief systems are never going to be the same compared to another person, ever. And then by the time we get older, by the time we mature, the majority of people have their minds set. Like, how many people in the world are willing to admit when they're wrong about something, and how many people are in the world that are just like, no, no, I'm not wrong. I can't be wrong. I know that what I believe in it is true because I have proof. I'm so I religion is a great example of this. You can't convince people to stop believing in their religion, no matter how bullshit their fucking belief is. Like, America is dominantly Christian, right? Or I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it still is, but it has been for a long time. Anybody who's like a devout Christian, good luck trying to convince them that that Jesus is that Jesus isn't their savior, or that or some sky daddy in the sky is is looking over them. Don't forget the point that we have over 4,000 different religions on the face of the planet, 12 of which are widely known, and each having their different belief system based on culture, based on where they're born. And yet and then every Christian in the United States is like, no, this is the true religion. Yeah, how many people in the fucking Middle East think that way about their religion? How many people that are Buddhists believe that about their religion? And have been for the last fucking millennia. When you begin to consider how many religions are just like Christianity and are just as old, if not older, and have been brought up with the same, like, I'm just so tired of seeing people just. I'm tired. I'm tired, man. And then I could hear a lot of people say, well, just live your own life. Just forget what everybody else says. Relax. Live your own life. And, because at the end of the day, we're all going to make it from beginning to end in one way or another. However long it takes. That's probably and I agree, that's probably the best way you can live life, is to just, as long as you're not hurting anybody, live your own life. But it's hard to do that sometimes because other people live their lives thinking they're not hurting people when they actually are. Like, again, back to the religious. How many people who are religious, their own belief system harm people that aren't included within a certain group of people? Like again, Christianity. If you're gay, that's a sin. It says so in the Bible. I'm not here to debate nuances about what the Bible says. It says being gay is a sin. And that's another thing too. That's another thing, is that if I say that, a crap load of there would be a lot of there would be some Christians out there that would say things like, "No, well, that's not actually what it means." It's like, well, then what does it mean then? How many Christians debate amongst one another about what something means in the Bible? Because goddamn, I've seen people in the same religion debate amongst one another about what their beliefs mean. So where does the credibility go? If the Bible itself is up for debate amongst amongst the very people who claim to be faithful of it. There's even titles for them. There's fundamentalist Christians who believe the Bible word for word, and then there's those who are like more interpretive. It's like, well, who the fuck is right? That's what made me stop being Christian, because I was like, well, which part of Christianity is right? And it's not just Christianity. I want to preface that the only reason I'm saying Christianity the most is because that's where I have experience. Because I used to be Christian, I used to be really devout. I used to be, even though I didn't read the Bible as much as I should have, to claim to be devout. I read the Bible enough to be considered a Christian by my local church. And granted, you know what? You know what's interesting is that my experience with the church, with a church, it was a modern day church. It was like not like those traditional churches. It was like ones with like the guitar sets, the band sets on the stage, one of those kinds of churches. And I had a great experience when I was a kid. I there was a genuine air of love amongst people, and I'm not saying every Christian is is like an evangelical piece of shit. But you have to, if you are a Christian or are somebody religious in general, you have to question if people are debating amongst themselves in your own religion. What does that say about the credibility of the religion itself? Because that's what I had to ask myself. Because I had to say to myself, like, well, shit, if if I'm if I believe this about my religion, and this other person next to me who's also Christian is debating me about what something means in the Bible, there's a sense of like, wait, but isn't the Bible like God's word? Who are we to get to say what God's word means? Like, I've wanted to get this out. I don't, and I've said this in previous videos. I don't make these videos to get views. Obviously, I'm not like a partner for YouTube. But sometimes the videos I've released, they get a lot of views, and that's it's kind of cool to see that happen. I'm not like, I mean, I'm not like a big YouTuber, obviously, by any means. I don't see this to be my career unless something really pops off. But my point is, I don't make these videos to like expecting to get views, expecting to anybody to see anything. But usually someone does, and if I just get out to one person, then maybe they might see things differently. But maybe not. Given all the yelling I've done so far, I'm so. It is a strange and frustrating ultimatum to be in a position where you start saying, I don't want to be on the same planet as the same species. Because that often has really concerning implications. I'm not going to say it directly, but I'm pretty sure anybody who watches this video who has any semblance of common sense knows what I'm referring to. But that sounds very concerning to say, but when I say that, it's not meant to be concerning. It's just like, again, I'm not sure if I said this earlier, but if I haven't, I'm gonna say, if I have, I'm gonna say it again. If I haven't, well, I'm saying it now. I do have individual friends. Individual people can be great people. I guess it's just the collective differences in groups of people and how it seems to be that we're so divided naturally, and I guess that's just natural. I guess that's just how we are. We're just going to be different from one another and have different belief systems based on how we were brought up. And ultimately, I guess what at the end of the day, that people are only ever really going to change their minds about something themselves. Like, it takes an individual having their own experiences to change their minds about things. But I guess where my anger comes from is the fact that some beliefs that people have hurt other people. And some beliefs can actually instill based like in the United States, some beliefs can based on the activism of individual people in each state can have negative consequences on people, like the anti-LGBT laws that are being put in place that are against people in certain states. Usually they're red states, South Republican states. Like, and me already saying that, like, there would already be an influx of people being like, "Well, you're just a liberal communist." Like, Dude, there are some stupid fucking people on the left too. I'm not denying that. And I don't, and like I said, I actually don't know if I already said this, but I don't like to put a label on things. My beliefs are my beliefs. I don't think you should be being an asshole to other people. Point blank, period. Nobody should be telling other people how to live their lives. Again, unless they're going to hurt somebody. But if somebody's like trans and I don't want to get into like, I'm about to go into like a whole on rant about this, but if I just, people don't like it when others are different in some way. And it's what garners hate for some reason. I am sad, man. I'm, and I'm sure that listening to this, maybe somebody listening to this and they're like, well, shit, man, I'm kind of depressed now too. Look, this is the reality of our species. It is depressing. I die. There's no other way to put it. It just fucking sucks, dude. Point blank and simple, it can be easy to say it sucks to exist. And sometimes I just really want to say that. I just really want to simply say existing sucks. But there'd be a lot of people being like, "Well, there's all kinds of beauty in life." Like, sure, yeah, but how much of that beauty outweighs the negative shit? Damn, man. I I just people want to believe what they believe in, and then once they believe what they believe in, it's like, how do you, like, if they what they believe in is wrong, like factually wrong, how do you get them to change their mind? Like, look at the Andrew Tate fans. Like, how are you gonna how many of them actually, like, there's a lot of them that are convinced that, oh, women should be at home, men should be at work. It's like, you could bring up every valid argument towards them in the book, and they'll just shrug you off because they already have their minds made up. And that's not just that's anybody, really, anybody who, like, shit, man, fuck. I don't know what else to say. I'm so defeated because a part of me wants so badly to push for a better world, but at the same time, we're individual people. Like, every person has a differing opinion on, or differing set of beliefs uh on what they think would make the world a better place. So if everyone has differing opinions, then there is really no objective way to make the world a better place. And ultimately, not really. This is what we got. Where we can make slow, tiny strides in individual places, but globally, no. I don't think we can make the world any better than it is now, which isn't really that good because of the human condition and how we are as a species, because where we experience the world subjectively, each and every one of us individually. So, I don't know. I I I just, like, you can tell, like, anybody who's watching this right now has gotten this far can probably tell I've toned down a bit because I'm just so, like, I've expended my energy. I just every time I do something, I try to I tried to make videos like this in the past and always failed because it's so hard to make to like say anything. There's no point. Like it's always like there's no point. Who anybody who doesn't agree with me is just going to or is just going to click off the video or whatever, or rant about it and not really take what I say into consideration. And those who or not agree, okay. Like I'm not sure if I just said don't agree or disagree, but I'm gonna reiterate and say what I mean to say. Anybody who doesn't agree with me is just going to, you know, anybody who's religious is going to be like you're going to hell or something, and or you're just a liberal woke tard, or you're just a and for anybody since I'm taking the centrist approach, I could imagine there'd be people on the left being like you're just a fascist, like. It makes living on a planet so full of people unwilling to think critically, regardless of individual people who do think critically. Like, and fuck, not that's another thing. Every individual has a differing opinion on what they think critical thinking is. So fuck, we're back to square one. Oh shit. Do you see this this constant battle is that no matter what you do, just that's the gist of it. No matter what you do, there is nothing that I can do. If you are somebody who is anti-LGBT, if you are somebody who is like all cops are bastards or something, if you are like whatever side you're on, I can't fucking convince you. I give up. I give up. It sucks to come to a point after debating politics to be like, I just don't want to live on this planet anymore. That feels horrible, man. Because I want to believe that humanity is capable of extreme good, but it feels like, and I know I keep saying it feels like, but this is of course from my perspective, it feels like for all the good we do 10 things bad collectively as a species. I'm not saying anybody who's watching this video that you're doing something bad. I'm saying like whether consciously or unconsciously, we do 10 things bad for every single thing we do good. And a lot of times, the things that we're doing bad aren't really in our control. Climate change, for example. You know how many times corporations will say, you are responsible for fixing climate change? It's like, no, the corporations are responsible for fixing climate change. There's not much you as an individual person, no matter how much you're trying to reduce your carbon footprint, can do to significantly stop climate change. It boils down to advocating for, for change as opposed to doing the change yourself, because I don't know, turning off all your lights and cutting off on power usage by yourself isn't really going to do much. But that's a little bit of a tangent. My point is that I it sucks to come to a conclusion where I just don't want to be on the same planet as. I guess I should rephrase it and say, not the same planet as the rest of the human species. I should say, be on the same planet in which in which humanity seems so divisive, or live on the same planet of such divide, I guess. But at the same time, what should I have expected? Like, it's not like looking at humanity and how we, and our how we are historically, we've always been divisive. I guess it's just de- depressing for that to be a fact. I guess to have to live with that, to desire to recognize that there can be ways that we can make an objectively better world, but because we're inherently divisive, it's like, well, every individual has differing opinions on what would make a better world. So you can't really make a better world if nobody's if if everyone's on a different page. So I see, you can anybody who's watching this probably tell it, like, and I'm not the only one to have this kind of like internal struggle. I know I'm not. I know there's a lot of people out there. Maybe somebody's watching this video right now. You're exactly the same way. And so so it boils down to like, well shit, how do we fix the if the problem is it basically the human condition itself? It's like, well, what do we do to fix it? It's like, well, you can't. We are going to sorry, that was my phone. We are going to constantly be fighting, whether because every person believes that what they are fighting for is for the greater good. And thus, what is good, like, it boils down, this is probably a cliche thing to say, but good and evil doesn't really exist in the human species. There's only infinite shades of gray. And no one should try to call someone good or evil because it just doesn't exist in humanity. I mean, we have morals, we have what's considered to be morally good, morally bad, but it ultimately boils down to, well, like, where's your frame of reference? Like who, what does somebody think is good in like in a country 5,000 miles away from you? Like, I I want I humanity seems to just hate itself. Like, imagine for a second if now this is just like like completely um let's say we disregarded emotions. Like, let's say we evolved as like a hive mind, or we evolved to be purely efficient and nothing else. Like, how prosperous would we be from the like place your emotions and and like your emotions and such into a world where there are none and purely efficiency. If you were in a world like that, would we see something prosperous? If we were built on if our brains were only conditioned to be efficient and to progress, like where would we be by now? Like, how fast would we have achieved space travel, or how fast would we have figured out the supposed, like, how fast, like, my point, like, I guess my point is like, without the very good thing that makes us human, the ability to feel and emotions and like, let's say if we were purely logical and purely rational with no emotion, like, I don't know. I guess I'm just starting to derail a bit here. I surely, of course, I'm always going to be like advocating for things that I believe would make the world a better place. Like, that's who I am. Again, I'm human. I have my own belief system. Um, there's just see, I don't know what else to say. There's just an internal struggle because I'm gonna start talking in circles if I repeat myself, because the summary here is that we all think differently. We all have different beliefs. So ultimately, we can't really get a world better than what we have now. And I, I, I want to believe that we can, at least with the good that we can do, we can, you know, prevent like the serious like existence threatening issues like the effects of climate change or whatnot, or how we're going to handle meteors, or if one were to come within 100 or 200 years. Um, but when it comes to social issues, it's just it almost feels pointless. I think I'm done. I'm trying to think about other things to talk about on this topic, but I think I'm so I I feel like I finally got out what I wanted to say, and for better or worse, wherever that puts me, I don't know. I'm just I just sucks. Just I want to see the beauty in things, but it's hard to do that when the world around me seems so the world around us as a species seems so like I should just say around me because I can't really speak for anyone else, but to me it just seems like no matter what I do, I'm always going to be just another person going from beginning to end in life. I'll always advocate for things that I think will make the world a better place, but that's just me. And there's a lot of people that would tell me that what I believe is wrong. And even though what I believe in is based in a lot of fact, there's no point debating people on trying to change their minds and get them to see what I see or get them to see the facts or truth of any social issue. Because if they don't agree with, if they still don't agree and they just want like, there's just no point. There's just it just doesn't. There's no point. I'm at odds with my own like being human. I'm at odds with myself, like from an existential standpoint. And I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that are the same way. But this is a strange mixture of just. It's not just like looking at myself. It's just being aware that I'm a part of the same species that is so inherently divisive. I'm glad for the people I have in my life, for the people who have given me a chance despite being autistic and being, slightly different from the average person. I'm glad for those people. And as much as I just want to say, just live your own life, just go about life the way you can. It's just I put myself in other people's shoes and like the perspective of somebody who's trans living in Florida where there's a shitload of anti-LGBT laws. I'm not sure if that's the right state, but in a state where there's a lot of anti-LGBT laws being put in place, it's like I try to say, well, shit, if I was in that position, I would feel like shit. Or if if you want to defend yourself, if you want to have the means to defend yourself with a and have a firearm to defend yourself, and you live in California and like and or some other like extremely strict gun law state, it's like and you have to go through. I don't know. Just trying to think about other things to say. I think I've tapped the well dry. I'm trying to make sure that I don't ramble too much about shit that's not really pertinent to what I originally started recording this video to begin with. But goddamn, existing is exhausting. The words of Anthony Padilla, who uses that a lot to in the sponsorships of when he sponsors BetterHelp, existing is exhausting, man. And I if you're somebody who places their labels politically, like, I don't care who you are. I just think that's it. I think I'm done. I'm trying not to make this dramatic or anything, but I'm just so fuck. Just so fucking. I'm just so fucking done. And it's like there's this desire to take a spaceship off of the planet and go live like a hermit in space or something. Yeah, that's uh, I think that's where I'll end it. Um, insert dramatic outro here, or you know, what have you. What, I don't know. Envision something in your brain that looks really freaking cool. I don't know.